The Department of Transportation is suing Southwest, alleging that the major US carrier has consistently operated delayed flights. This lawsuit follows a substantial fine that was handed down to JetBlue, another US company, for doing something similar over an 18-month period. Fines and endeavours, such as what the DOT is doing, follow an industry-wide crackdown on airlines' inability to stick to schedule and also formulate schedules that are deemed realistic. Realistic, the key word to take from that. Southwest's delays had numerous negative ramifications for passengers attempting to use the airline's schedule, that a really core focus of the proceedings. The maximum civil penalties are now being sought to be handed down on Southwest in the lawsuit that was filed in Northern California. Within the US, led by the DOT, there has been a crackdown on airlines' delayed operations and turning of a blind eye to these instances. The DOT firmly believes that meeting a realistic flight schedule is essential. However, airlines often create unrealistic schedules that revolve around maximizing revenue rather than maximizing on-time performance. To determine what a delayed flight is, that rule is that at least 10 times a month, a flight arrives more than 30 minutes late on more than 50% of occasions. As for the DOT and Southwest, well, they found that the airline had 2 chronically delayed flights between Chicago Midway International Airport and Oakland, along with Baltimore and Cleveland, resulting in 180 flight disruptions during a period stretching from April to August of 2022. The Bureau of Transportation Statistics estimates that Southwest was responsible for more than 90% of the disruption causes on those 2 delayed route segments. Under the rules, the cause of any specific flight disruption gives airlines time to provide an adequate fix to ensure that disruptions stop occurring. However, according to the DOT, Southwest failed to fix the chronically delayed flights. In a statement, the airline expressed disappointment with the lawsuit concerning the 2 flights. The carrier states that the agency had already issued a policy concerning chronic delays in 2009, and Southwest since has operated over 20 million flights, and also no other violations have taken place during this. Moreover, the airline argues that the DOT's claims that the 2 flights represent an unrealistic schedule are untrue. Southwest says the evidence for prioritizing a robust schedule should be clear when comparing the flights to its performance across the last 15 years. At the beginning of this video, you may recall that I mentioned JetBlue, and that's because their story is very important when comparing to Southwest. JetBlue in the last few weeks was fined USD $2 million for them operating delayed flights over a repeated period stretching far longer than what Southwest is being investigated for, June 2022 through to November 2023. The DOT found repeated cancellations by JetBlue across 4 routes, primarily from the airline's hub at New York JFK to domestic destinations. Findings indicated that the delays happened 145 times and were not a mere coincidence, nor a problem created fundamentally by the routes themselves. The DOT argued that the fine of this sheer scale to the carrier was a warning sign industry-wide that airlines must place greater focus on creating schedules that they can actually maintain. And at the beginning of the video, I also mentioned the keyword of realistic, and that'll reappear here. It is a word the DOT continues to broadcast that they want airlines to be focusing in on. A realistic schedule allows them to maintain it and to offer passengers as many services as possible. Now, just weeks after JetBlue was fined, the US carrier Southwest is facing something similar through a lawsuit for chronically delayed flights. Very keen to hear your opinion down below in the comments. Do you believe this crackdown makes sense or not really? Thanks a lot for your support here on the channel. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow for your next industry recap.
And we'll fly.